All right, we are back. Botch Wrestling Podcast. I forget which the episode count is, Dan. It's been a lot. Um, because there's
Yeah.
a lot posted on the YouTube and Instagram. So share it. That'll help us greatly. But yeah. After Night of Champions into a 2 episode evening of Raw followed by SmackDown. Um, Here we are. How are your thoughts, Dan? What are your going into Night of Champions? What were you thinking about the card and coming out of it? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I was excited about Cena Punk going into it. I wasn't, the rest of it was fine, but nothing crazy. I wasn't like over the moon, like can't wait to see this show in general. Leaving it kind of the same, to be honest. Like I got Cena Punk and I was happy about that and I wanted to see that. Interesting, kind of crazy ending. The rest of the card was fine, but nothing like that I like need to write home about either. It was just a decent enough card. You know, Not sure I love the Cody Randy match as far as like the outcome, but
Same.
unless it's leading to something that we're going to talk about, just because I heard it from I think Sam Roberts maybe. Uh, as far as an opinion on that I liked the opinion at least. Um, I'm not sure about that, so we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through the card, I suppose, when we get to their match and then also the Punk Cena match and what that is set up now. But I don't know, decent, but nothing crazy. So I think it ended up being what I expected. Run of the mill, decent card. Big match at the end I wanted to see. That's how I left it. Run of the mill, decent card, but the match I wanted to see at the end, and I was happy about that. I do hope there's another one. I know they kind of build it as like for the last time with the two of them. I kind of hope there's another one down the road before Cena leaves.
Yeah, agreed.
What about you?
Um, yeah, I was just reviewing this. Uh, to be honest, there was a few things that had me a little bit excited on the card going into it, looking at the card. I going into the card, I was excited for Rhea and Raquel to do a street fight. One based on the environment of the culture that they were going to be in. I wanted to see like how that was going to play out, like if they were going to let them get bloody and violent. There wasn't blood, but I will definitely say they did let them get violent. That's for
Yeah.
sure, which I was very surprised
Yep.
of. I was very excited for Sammy and Karrion because I'm very high on both of those guys. Um, I low key thought Solo and Jacob could steal the show, and I had the same concerns for the Cody and Orton. Not too big on how that ended, and I kind of feel the same way about Solo and Jacob. Um, I guess I expected better. I don't know. I think I expected better out of both of those batches. We both picked Jade to beat Asuka, which obviously, she
Yeah.
did. Um, and yeah, we both were excited for Punk. So there was about 2 or 3 more things I was very happy about going into this card than you. But to be honest, overall, I consider this a stack card for how they've been there in the past. I feel like in the past, like this Saudi card has been somewhat of a throwaway. If you go back, I don't know, 3 years ago, before 3 years ago, I feel like the card doesn't stack up to what they have now. But if you think about it, you got to think Punk's gonna get a world title soon. John has the title. Jade's gonna get a title. You got to think Jacob's gonna get some other title back on him soon. Um, Everybody backstage from the reports that we read on Fightful have definitely said that like there's a big push going on for Carrion, and they also kind of want to give Sammy that big push as well, so they might get, you know, the IC title or the US title. We obviously both believe Rhea's going to get the title again pretty soon, right? Or within the, I don't know. I
Yeah.
I would say I think Rhea's going to get her title back by the end of the year. I think I would almost bet my paycheck on it that she would get that title back by the end of the year. Um, and you know what? Like WWE might get the itch to take Orton and put him on the type of track to go catch John, right? And then that kind of leaves Cody out there of like, is Cody going to get a title back? So it's like, what? That's 5 or 6 people that we could see with a major title on by the end of the year going into 2026. I feel like that's huge based on the cards that we've seen before. Um, you know what I mean? Like we usually see like a Brock card for some Brock on here, Goldberg. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like cards. I feel like I guess the best way to say it is like I feel like this is a I don't know. I feel like this has been a card in the past where like you would be okay of like sitting this one out, and I feel like there was a lot of intrigue to this year's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, they
I
definitely
guess
went through a lull. They
y-
started where these shows were always like almost like fantasy bookings because they were always bringing back some
yeah,
big old
yeah.
retired
It
star, right?
was like
Like
a
we would
Comic
see
Con
the
wrestling show almost. Like
yeah, because you would get oh we got DX versus the Brother of Destruction. We got Undertaker before that. We got
yeah, I mean
you would always get well you got Goldberg one time, right? Like you would always get these big names that maybe hadn't been around for a while with a bunch of throwaways, but because of the big name, you know, it became a thing, you know.
yeah, I mean
Also, didn't they do Triple H and Undertaker at like a Saudi super show or something they called it?
Triple
It
H
was
and
like one final time.
Triple H and Cena was April 27, 2018 at the Greatest Royal Rumble. The Super Showdown with Triple H and Randy Orton June 7th, 2019. I mean, that 2018 card, they had The Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. I don't remember that. They had Hunter
I don't
versus
either.
John. They had Seth versus Samoa Joe versus the Miz and versus Finn for the IC title in a ladder match. Don't remember that. They had Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship 2019. That was the Taker versus Goldberg match, I think. Uh, Here's one. Did they do an elimination chamber in Saudi? Do you remember?
I don't. I don't remember.
Yeah, 22 in Jeddah. Yep. So in 22 they had Brock versus Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles versus Austin Theory versus Riddle versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. And surprise, surprise, guess who walked away with it? Brock. Right. And then they had
I,
Roman versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship. That, and then they had Roman versus Logan Paul at the Crown Jewel in 22. Is it? Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Well, and then wasn't the Brothers of Destruction at one of them too? DX
yeah,
versus
they
the
did.
Brothers of Destruction.
So they did. I also, by the way, I was wrong. It wasn't a Saudi show. It was Australia. They did the Super Showdown, and it was Undertaker versus Triple H, and it was billed as like the final, the last time ever. But it, of course, ended up not being the last time ever because they did DX versus Brother of Destruction in a Saudi show
Yeah,
in a what ended up being a terrible match because Didn't Triple H tear his pec in that match like immediately?
I think so, and they pulled Kane's mask off, right?
Right, and like
Or his
Michaels
hair
got
fell
hurt
off.
pretty
Yeah,
quick. That was back when Michaels debuted the bald look.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that was Crown Jewel 2018. I mean, that was about as bad as a match as those four have ever had in their career, probably including their rookie years. Like, um, yeah, it didn't go well at all. So,
yeah. I mean, like
you know,
this was a card that I was okay with skipping and just finding out about on Twitter in the past. But this card did have some intrigue to it. Um, we don't have to go through all of the cards, but what do you want to talk about on here? You want to talk about Cody and Orton?
yeah, I mean, I think that's
Okay.
one because there's, I don't know if it's true or not, but like, I think it was Sam Roberts that had an opinion about this that if he's right that this is a direction, then I'm okay with the way this ended. Um, as far as the match goes, the match was fine. The outcome is like the weird part. Like Cody winning, and then automatically, so that they already made it clear the winner was gonna um, face off whoever wins the Punk Cena match. So we knew going into it that it was either going to be Cody or Randy against the winner of Punk Cena at SummerSlam. So Cody wins, and so I'm kind of sitting there thinking, okay, so we're getting most likely Cody Cena rematch at SummerSlam. Like, the only thing about that, I just don't understand where they're going with that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, we saw this match already, and Cena won, and like, and the way he won, and like all that, but like, so we're doing this again. Like, I don't necessarily see Cody winning. I just don't think they're taking that belt off Cena at SummerSlam. Certainly not to Cody. But then I was watching some clips of something, and like I said, I think it was Sam Roberts, and his thing was, look, they keep very gingerly teasing Cena having second thoughts about being a heel, right? And we saw it in the Punk match where he ended up not hitting him with the belt when he could
Right.
have, and he kind of like, he kind of had some trouble on whether or not he wanted to or not, and then he ended up not doing it. Of course, he like snapped out of it a little bit and did a couple more heelish type things after that. But in general, like, we keep seeing these little glimpses of Cena kind of thinking, "Is this the right path for me?" So Sam actually was wondering, are we going to see a heel Cody at SummerSlam versus a good guy Cena? And if that's the case, then okay, I'm a little more interested in what that could be, if that's what they are going to go for. So that's my thing on that. I kind of agree with that. Like, if that's the direction it's going, okay, then I'm somewhat okay with this. If that's not the direction it's going, then I don't know what I am with it yet. If it's just another good guy Cody versus heel Cena, unless it's got some kind of big twist at the end, I'm not that interested in that match. I'm not interested in that rematch at this point. So that's my take on the ending, at least. Like, I think I would have preferred Orton, unless they're flipping Cody.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So Cody goes bad. Do you think Orton goes bad? Or is he kind of like just riding out what he is now?
Yeah, I think he's just riding out what he is now for the time being. I mean, I think if Cody goes heel. Eventually, Orton probably faces him as a babyface, so I don't think he
And
can
does he
switch with
take the
them.
title?
I don't know if he takes the title or not, because I think if Cody really turns heel, I think he probably, if they're going to give him the title as part of that turn or completing that turn, I think he probably rides it for a little while as a heel. So I don't know if Randy takes it from him right away or anytime soon.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't what I was thinking until I saw that clip, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess that could be. I mean, if you're continuing to tease Cena, kind of thinking twice about this stuff, or does the turn happen during that match? I mean, that's always possible too. Um, because that's what we're getting in SummerSlam. We're going to get Cody Cena. So there's going to be a build up for a while. There's going to be a lot of promos. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm trying to picture it. I get it, right? Because we've called this out before on the pod how Cena's been doing these subtle things of like he's not comfortable in this almost when the match gets done, right? Like the only time he looked comfortable to me is when he came out and cut that heel promo after the Travis Scott stuff. When he just started laughing when Travis Scott was coming into the ring, right? Like that's kind of like
Yeah.
the only, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of like the only moment where like he looked like, oh, I'm okay with this now, right? I feel like, can you think of anything else?
Yeah.
Like, besides when he screwed Cody over the night of and he got the title, but like other than that, like he's not really he's shown more small glances into wait, am I okay with this rather than Seth Rollins come out and he's happy everybody hates him now that he has the briefcase, right?
Right.
But I think he like. But I will also think about this today when I had a few podcasts on. Do you think he has to act that way because he's still getting cheered, or if he was just getting boos and nobody was still cheering for you? Do you think he would go even deeper into like the heel gimmick and not throw on like this like self doubt almost of like okay like do you know what I mean like
Yeah.
because they do still have a problem right like when he walks out um there is more cheers than boos I would say right now.
Yeah, I always think it's hard to tell, right? Because like they've been doing the John Cena sucks forever.
Yeah,
And it is louder. It is louder now than it used to be, but I mean, that's I think just excitement over everything.
yeah, agreed. No, that's fine. I would agree with that. Um, yeah, I mean it's tough, right? Because now that I think about it, like making that comment after the Saudi show, he's always going to be loved in Saudi, right? Like it's
Yeah, I mean they're just
yeah,
like they're just happy they have a show going on. They just love the show.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's the best
Yeah.
theory, right? Like,
I think it's the best theory to get a renewed excitement in the match for sure. Like
agreed.
I think they do potentially have the issue of we don't have um we don't have excitement otherwise, you know. I think that's the main problem they're going to run into. Like, I don't know that this is compelling enough of a match.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Um, so would you turn him heel before that Cena match, or would you let the moment in the Cena match be the he's gone heel type thing?
I think I'd turn him ahead of it because I think that gives you the more intrigue, but I don't know if they're going to do that or not. So, in the absence of wanting to do that, then obviously I think it should happen no later than the end of that match for sure. But I think it should be ahead of it for sure. It's interesting though because like it becomes like how are you turning John back? I mean, I know you can just do it, but what are you doing to turn him back? He has to have like there has to be something that turns him back. He can't just walk out tomorrow and say, "Oh, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm abandoning like that story and like the I'm abandoning the I'm ruining wrestling. I'm taking this title with me." Like something has to happen that he can then come in and say, "Okay, this is too far. I need to do something." And whether he attacks a bad guy or he, like whatever he does, right? But I don't know what that is. It can't just be a promo, right? It's got to be an action. Just like when, like, well, no different than like Sammy turning on the Bloodline a long time ago, right? Like, and the whole thing with like Kevin and him putting a chair into Roman, you know, Sammy couldn't just come out and say like, "Oh, I'm no longer a part of the Bloodline." He had to do something to definitively end his relationship with the Bloodline and realign himself with Kevin Owens at that time. You know, so I think it's the same thing. Or like Jimmy Uso when he turned back and reunited with Jay.
Right.
You know, so
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
so I don't know what that is the issue, but like Cody could turn heel in a promo, I suppose. Um, but I don't think John can turn back to a babyface in just a promo. It's
No.
going to have to be definitive action,
I
right?
always.
Because
Yeah.
you've gone too far with the heel thing to just do it in a promo.
I agree. I think I said this, or you said this before, that definitive action is have to gonna be something bigger than Cena turning, like when he originally did. Like it's gonna need an equal action to have fans still into it. Because if it's done
Right.
lame, it's gonna feel lame and it's not gonna be worth it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
Sure is.
yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I think I would turn him. Um, I think I would turn him before the Cena match as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I would do it though, because I have a few ideas in my mind. Um, One is bringing back the final boss.
Yeah. That would probably be the easiest way.
I think that. Um, I do also have this fascination that I talked to you about as well. That Seth has like Paul's talked about like he could just go get people. What if Paul goes gets Cody, and that's how Cody gets his title back, and then Seth has the other title,
Yeah.
right? Like, and then those are the two shot callers of basically wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Could do something like that. It's a little awkward with two
it's
really
yeah,
strong guys,
it's
but
convoluted for sure, but Yeah, I always thought because before Paul went to Seth, I thought there was a chance that we get Paul on the side of Cody because Paul was a big Dusty guy. So I thought, okay, this makes sense, and then Paul could tell us stories about Dusty and how Dusty went through the challenges to get what he wants, and Cody's going through those same challenges, like right, like all that type of stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, interesting points. Uh, Good ideas on those, Dan. But yeah, I think so. Then I guess the final thought would be: is there a specific event that you would flip him before? You would flip Cody before?
Well, I don't. They really don't have anything that I can think of now that they're doing because, like, at least not that I'm aware of. Like, Cody and Cena aren't announced for Saturday Night Main Event, right? So it would have to be just on a Raw or a SmackDown,
Correct.
and that doesn't, you know, 100% make sense.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. Um. Agreed. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to look at the WWE calendar. Yeah, I don't know. I do think we need to see it soon, though. Like, because I think you're gonna need to let Cody have some time as a bad guy, so the crowd builds off of it, right? Like they feel
Yeah.
him as a bad guy, like they get used to him as a bad guy, type thing.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
to the point where those boos just start to echo and echo and echo and echo, and then the cheers slowly get louder for Cena as they get closer, right? Um, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It'll be good to see where we go from there. Yeah, I mean, so I guess including how you felt about the ending, what would you r- rank that match?
Cody Orton.
Yes, sorry, yes, Cody Orton.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it was just a. I mean, it was a decent enough match. I guess, like, I don't know. For me, probably like a 7.
Gonna say a 5 or a 6, leaning toward the 6. Like just because I think
Yeah.
the ending kind of pushed me away from it. That's all. Um, yeah. So that one. I guess. Well, so we should probably talk about this match too. Not that we have to hit everything on the card, but Solo and Jacob. So I was right on who we were going to get show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But did it do
A
anything for you?
monster. Well, it builds intrigue for me for sure because I've been a big proponent of like somehow rehabilitating some bloodline stuff, and I don't know how they're going to do that yet, but like they're bringing pieces to do that. So with debuting, well, we don't, or no, we do know what they're calling him now, right? It's Tala Tonga, I think, or Tonga Tala.
Yeah,
Did I
something
get that
like that.
right?
Yeah. Which is funny
It's going
because
to be.
I think he debuted at a house show under the HIKULEO name.
Yeah, I think they probably just like I
Switched
don't
it.
know because I think that they yeah, and they like seem to do that. Like I don't know if they thought they would test it, see if it got like some huge reaction if they used that name and then they didn't, so they were like, all right, we can use whatever name we want, you know? Because like, you know, a lot of people aren't going to know him unless they paid attention to New Japan. So if they hadn't paid attention to New Japan, they're just not going to,
Yeah.
really know who he is. But um, he or so so with the debut of Talatanga and the return of Tongaloa was the other one who returned, right? We still don't have Tamatanga back though, right? I have that. I think it was Tamatanga who returned. He was the first return for Solo, and then Talatanga, the new debut. But Tamatanga isn't back yet, if I remember correctly. So
Tonga
the only reason
Loa
I'm
returned.
yeah, so Tamatanga didn't come back.
Correct.
Yeah. So the only thing I am happy about with this and intrigued about, and that it does anything for me, is obviously Solo going over gives Jacob extra motivation for revenge, so that's good because he's definitely enjoyable to watch, and he's going to be even more enjoyable when he's on the hunt. And adding the return of Tongaloa and the debut of Talatanga is hopefully resurrecting something bloodline-ish, right? Where Jacob is now going to have to get some recruits on his side because he doesn't have anybody.
Right.
Who's he got? Right?
Right.
If Tongaloa came back and is still for Solo, and Talatanga is debuting and is for Solo, you have to assume that Tamatanga is going to come back with Solo. But then again, I guess maybe not. They could make that swerve. So Jacob's got to go out and get people. And I think I said it to you on Saturday when we were talking about the show as it was happening or after it was done. You know, they teased a little bit Solo and Jimmy within not Solo and Jimmy, I'm sorry, Jacob and Jimmy, like a couple of weeks ago, right? Like Jacob kind of saved Jimmy from something, and they kind of, whatever, a little mutual head nodding to each other. And then we got, so like, I'm going to assume that Jacob is going to, recruit Jimmy. I don't know what we're seeing out of Jay right now, but I have a feeling you could see Jay jump back into this with Jimmy helping recruit him to Jacob's side. They could even do a little bit of a callback when Jay was like, why'd you have to go and get Jacob? Why'd you have to go and get the Tongans, right? Like, that was all a thing of, like, you went too far with this.
Right.
But now he's probably going to be persuaded to say, look, for whatever trouble there was in the past and however crazy Jacob is, we need to unite against Solo, who's out of control. So if we get something like that, and then I don't know, right? Like, is this where we see Zilla Fatu come in? Do we see Roman get back involved in this somehow? Do we, where are we going with this? So that part I'm happy for with that ending, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think we
if it goes somewhere, if it ends up not going anywhere, then I'm going to eat my words and be like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, but I don't think that falls on us. Like, I think that falls on WWE Creative, like we said before. I agree. So just for those that are listening or going to listen, and since this is going to be out before SmackDown, Jimmy did tag up with Jacob on SmackDown.
Against who?
Against Solo and JC. But
okay. Yeah.
Tonga was around, and Tonga Loa did step in. And spoiler alert, they did wrap up the show by giving Jacob a triple power bomb through the table. So, typical bloodline stuff.
Yeah, so like I think this sets up nicely for Zilla to come in, right? Maybe it doesn't end up being Roman. Like, maybe, I don't know what the deal is with Roman, but so maybe Roman doesn't have to be involved in this. But I definitely see this as an opportunity for Zilla to debut. I know he, did a good job of teasing a little bit on social media with some messages and stuff like that. Like basically saying, "Hey, my phone's waiting. I'm waiting by the phone. Just call."
Well, so did
So
Zilla. Because did you see Zilla watched it
that's what
from?
I'm talking about.
Okay, I thought you meant Roman. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, not Roman. Zilla.
Yeah,
I might have said Roman. I meant Zilla.
yeah.
Um,
I would be all for him finally getting signed. I know he had some issues in the past, but I mean, if he sees how Jacob's able to provide for his family and he's staying out of trouble, like, you know what I mean? Like, why not?
yeah.
Like, take the flyer on him, and then you got two guys that give 110%, right? Like,
Yep.
and to be honest, it would kind of be funny to me because him and Solo technically have the same finisher, right? But Zillow jumps in the air before he does it. So he's almost like
Yeah.
horizontal with you when he hits you with it rather than just this and then that. So it would be funny to watch
Yeah.
Solo get a piece of his own Bettis in there for sure. Um, yeah, yeah, that'll be good. I think that's the easiest way you bring Roman back, though, right?
I think so, but then I guess the only concern or problem you have is, Roman. It's going to be hard to bring Roman in and not have him be the leader of that faction. He's not going to be following Jacob per se,
No, but I don't think
So
Jacob. I don't think that truly ends up as a faction. I think they all come together because they're just tired of Solo shit again, and then they just pound on Solo, right?
yeah, it could be.
Like, and then they kind of just go off. Take a week off here. He takes a week off here, and then Roman comes back and sets the record straight that he's back for what's his, and what's his is the whole WWE. And then I
Right,
think,
because he's never really he's not come back since like Seth basically put him out with Punk, right?
mm-hmm.
So like he's Seth's got something coming to him from Roman eventually too.
Well, and I think that's
That
I
whole
was
that whole crew.
I was just about to say I think that's the title he comes back for once Seth gets it. I don't think he goes for the one John has. I think he goes for the one that Seth has.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, but it was good.
Well, and Seth stole his Wiseman, right? Like that's the other
That's
thing.
the other punishment he's gonna have to
They,
pay. Yep.
he, and he hasn't been back since that whole situation. Like he was there the Monday after, and then he was stomped, right? And then that's it.
Yep. Agreed. Um. Agreed. Yeah, I liked it. I think I just expected something crazier from Jacob out of the match, if I'm explaining it correctly, right? Because I thought this would be a big time for him to just balls to the wall, kind of like how he threw that guy into the cage. I thought we were gonna get something crazy. So yeah, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It should be good. I just really want Zilla. I really want Zilla. I think he would be crazy in the WWE, especially with him being able to constantly train and do house shows. I think what he could add would just be he's a guy that they could count on for the next 15, 20 years, right? Like, how old is he? He's still in his 20s, right? I
I
thought he
think
was.
he's pretty young.
Yeah, I thought he was still in his 20s. Yeah, he's 25.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can also do Jacob and Zilla as tag team partners running through that division eventually because they are technically true brothers. So it's not like you have to make up a storyline there, right? Or like you could just do it specifically on their part of the family bloodline.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
yeah, they need to do that. Creative Stephanie Hunter, if you're paying attention to this podcast, sign the kid. Let's roll with it.
Get it done.
Yeah,
Get it done.
please, for all of us. And the main reason everybody turned into that card was John Cena and Punk. What are your thoughts, Dan?
I mean, I thought it was fine. Like, it was what I expected out of it. Good. Like, the ending was a little top for me. Like, it's, I think I said it to you, it felt a little bit like a mini WrestleMania from last year where it was just like run in after run in after run in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which, whatever. Like, that's what they wanted to do. That's what they did. So, like, that after a little bit, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy because, like, it's almost too much. But I get it. They wanted to really probably do it over the top, for the whole Cena win, but, um, but I like the match. Like I said, I don't know where we're going on SummerSlam. It looks like, I mean, they obviously the very next night, right, or Monday night, they teased Punk Gunther coming down the road here, right? Punk shoved Gunther, so um, I assume that's going to go somewhere eventually. Um, like I said, I hope they do it again. I hope this isn't the end. Like, even though they kind of said like this is the final time, like I hope that's not really the truth. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
I my issue with that is basically I'm 100% on. I didn't need to see a quarter of the roster run into the ring.
yeah,
Like that's my only issue with that match. That's all. Everything else, fine. Thought it was a decent match. Um, but like I just didn't need to see a quarter. Like I just didn't need to see Penta run in. Right? Like did not need to see it. Um, and like you said, this had the moment of where Cena kind of didn't know what to do, which I like because it's like great storytelling. Um, and it's just a small thing that eventually, like, it's stone after stone after stone after stone that eventually builds the wall, right? So, so I appreciate that very much. But yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I think you're spot on with your observation on this. Um, and we kind of agree. What would you rate this one?
that match.
Yeah.
Um, if it wasn't for the ending, I'd probably give it like an 8, but the ending brings it down a little bit to me. So I'd go with like a 7. The ending takes a little bit off for me.
Yeah, agree. I was gonna say like a 6.57, and I forgot to ask, what did you rate Solo and Jacob?
That's probably also like a 7, 8 for me. Probably maybe even or more like an 8, 9 because like that ending with a new debut and stuff like that, could advance the story a lot. So
Agreed. Yeah, I was at a 7.5 for that one. 8. Um, yeah. Overall, decent card. Would you say?
yeah,
So yeah. So
yep,
you want to move on to Raw now? If you don't have anything else to talk about there.
yeah. Let's do it.
Sure. So we have Io and Rhea gonna give us a match at Evolution. I think that's gonna be huge. We have Dominic taunting AJ again with the doctor's note, and then AJ putting on his old guy glasses and calling him a punk ass, which I thought was hysterical because Dom said, "Put on your glasses so you can actually read this." So AJ did. We had the tag titles up for grabs with Finn and JD versus New Day. We got Rusev versus Sheamus, which was pretty um meaty, I would say. These big dudes were really like hammering out like they did in the past, and it was awesome. We had Lyra versus Bailey as Adam Pearce was trying to end the bickering between them. So this match was going to be for the number one contender spot for the IC title. And as we called it, Roxanne Perez officially became part of Judgment Day. So Dan, where do you want to begin with this?
Well, we might as well just start at the top.
All right. So it starts off with Rhea, right? Comes out, talks about what she did to Brickwell, and even before she says she wants a chance at the title, here comes Io. What are your thoughts? What do you think's gonna happen at Evolution?
I mean, I think this is where Rhea gets it back. Long time coming. I think like whatever the reason was, she ended up not having it.
Yep.
If we go all the way back to Raw in Buffalo, right? Like,
Yep.
I think this is where she finally gets it back. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I just don't think they keep EO with it again. Like what? So they gave her the win in Buffalo.
Yep.
Then they gave her the win at WrestleMania, which I think was a little surprising. I think this is where Rhea gets it back. And then from there, I don't know what's coming, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I do think she gets it back as well. Um, and I think she finally beats her, right? Because she hasn't been able to beat her yet. So that'll be big.
No.
After that, we get Dom and AJ basically as the other big point backstage. This was a Judgment Day heavy type match. 3 out of
Yeah.
50% of this card was dealing with Judgment Day. They're not going anywhere anytime soon, Dan, like we thought.
No, and actually this title win for them as a tag team really like cements that they're pushing this faction more so now. And I mean, they dropped Carlito, right? Like, so that's fine. Or they're dropping Carlito one way or another. Okay. That made sense to me anyway, because like I've said from the beginning, like he makes no sense to me in this faction. They're obviously setting up a Liv Roxanne thing.
I've owned
for when Liv is good to come back, which is going to be a while, I'm sure. Yeah, they're holding this together for sure.
I think so as well. Do you think do you think we eventually get Liv back with Rhea, like I mentioned?
I mean, I suppose it's possible. I don't know. I guess it depends when she's ready to come back. I guess it depends on what Rhea's doing. Could they reunite to take on Roxanne and someone else at the time? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no, I get it. Makes sense to me.
I guess Roxanne and Raquel. Like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's just get to the other part of Judgment Day. Finn and JD take the tag titles off in New Day. First question for you.
Yeah.
Is heel turn for the New Day basically a waste, correct?
I think it's been a waste the whole time, right? Like,
agreed.
Because I don't know what they were doing with it. Like, I thought it was leading up to like Big E being back, but it seems less and less like that's really anywhere, possible. So if it had turned, like, if that's where the story had gone, then fine. But yeah, otherwise, no, it hasn't really made sense
Agreed.
at all.
Agreed.
I didn't mind it at first, but it just
Yeah,
hasn't really gone anywhere.
I think I would have kept them heels, but just not giving them the titles. Like, they could have just been heels and just tried to keep screwing every other tag team out of the chance of getting the titles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Yep.
I don't get that point of it. But yeah, congratulations to Finn and JD. So technically, Roxanne and Raquel tag titles, Dom the IC title, JD and Finn tag titles. They got all the gold back, so they're not going anywhere for at least a year.
Yeah, they got a lot of gold.
A lot of gold. As Corey Graves kept saying, they are swimming in the gold. After that, we had Rusev versus Sheamus. I can't tell you how much I miss this type of match. This felt like the perfect house show match of just two dudes that been in there before with each other. They know how hard each other hit. They got the green light and they basically said, let's go for it. And that's basically what this was, right? And Rusev got the win by exposing the turnbuckle, pulling Sheamus into it, and then that's what led to the finish. 1, 2, 3. Sweet, short, and simple. Still got the point across, right? So I hope those guys stay healthy because I want to see more of that for sure. We also had Lyra versus Bayley to end the bickering. This ended in a double pin as both of their shoulders were down. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, a little awkward. I couldn't tell if that was like purposeful or like what they were doing there. So I don't know, a little awkward, but whatever.
So you think we're getting triple
threat? Is what it is. Yeah, that would probably make sense.
And then who walks away with the triple threat at Evolution?
I think Bayley.
Or do you think we're getting at SummerSlam?
Well, it might be SummerSlam. I don't know. They might do something. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know which one it'll be, but I think Bayley.
Bayley either way?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. And then, Finn brought up the idea about Roxanne being Brickwell's tag team partner. They took a vote. Dom said he had to ask Liz. Finn smacked him in the chest and said, no, you're going to vote now. And Raquel kind of gave in. That's kind of the crack in everybody standing up for Liv now. So,
yeah.
But which is crazy, because at Evolution, they're defending it against a team from Raw, Smackdown, and NXT. Do you think they keep the titles?
That's probably.
That's stiff competition to throw Roxanne into. Like, we know she's called the Prodigy, but that's stiff. Like, that is a big stage.
Yeah, but when you're doing a 4-way match like that, you can easily write any kind of ending you want.
That's true,
right? Because
it's easier.
It's going to be one of those deals where you don't have to be the one pin to lose or win the championship, right?
Right. Agreed.
So, like, they could, some other team is going to come in and, let's say the NXT team ends up like taking the Raw team out, and then it's just, or taking the SmackDown team out. Like, it's, I don't know. It's easy enough to get around that when you're doing that kind of deal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that works. Yeah, so that was basically Raw, and then we had Seth and Punk going at it when Seth came out during Gunther's promo. Punk ran out just ready to throw haymakers because Seth cost him the title. And then we get LA Knight showing up in the crowd while Seth's waving goodbye, and then LA Knight beats on him.
And Punk gets mad about that.
Yeah, and then Punk gets upset about that. So it's like, I don't know. Like, are we getting Punk LA Knight soon?
Well, you're getting Punk Seth first, right? That's at night or Saturday night's main event.
No, it's LA.
So,
It's LA and
or
Seth.
sorry, that's what
Yeah.
I meant. It's Seth LA Night.
Yeah.
Gains him and Seth first. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know because they teased a lot there. Like Punk's mad at LA Knight. Punk shoves Gunther. You know, Gunther tries to put his hands on Punk. Punk shoves him to the ground. Like I don't know. They got a lot there. They're teasing, and of course, you still aren't done with Seth and Punk. After all this, they are still going at it. So
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Trying to see here.
a lot of unfinished business there.
Yeah, I would say so, man. I. Do you have any interest in LA Knight and Punk?
Not really, but I could see them doing some kind of match there just to, delay whatever other story they want to do with Punk. Just got to have them. Just have these guys do something.
Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. I don't know if I have any interest in that. I kind of wanted Punk to get past his Seth thing, but it's interesting. But it's still interesting to me that this is actually playing out. So we'll see how this goes. For sure. But
yeah, I mean, I keep saying that too. That I kind of want to be done with this, but then they keep adding elements to it that it gets interesting because they're agitators to each other. Without necessarily going head to head, they continue to be agitators to each other, and then that becomes like a thing where they aren't necessarily in a match, but they're tiptoeing around it. So
yeah.
I don't know where the long term is going on that, but I don't know. Maybe they'll set up Seth and Punk for a world title, but the thing is, it becomes like if it's Seth winning it first, and then Punk's going after it. How many times is Punk gonna lose for a title?
Well, that's what's gonna be my follow up. I had here for you in my notes. It's like, when does Punk break through, and how does that affect Seth? Was the actual question I had for you there. But
I mean, I thought I saw some reporting that said like SummerSlam is going to be Punk and Gunther for the title.
okay.
So, if that's true, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's true, I don't know where Seth is in that picture because we know we have Cody Cena. We know, so if you assume we have Punk Gunther, either Seth cashes in or is Seth just waiting? Because I could totally see them doing a thing where instead of him cashing in as a surprise, he cashes in to book a match. I mean, that happens every once in a while, right? Like, there's nothing that says you have to use the contract in a surprise move. It can be just to book a match. So does he wait and then book it against Punk? But then, I don't know. Then what are you doing? You're going to have Punk lose right away, or you're going to have Seth, lose with the briefcase, which is always... That doesn't happen too often, where the person with the briefcase doesn't get the title. It's only happened, 2 times, I think?
The last time I can think of is Austin, right? Austin Theory.
Well, didn't he cash in for the United States title also?
Yeah, and he lost.
He lost.
No,
yeah.
No, the U.S. title he won in Buffalo because that's when Vince came out and met him.
He didn't cash in for that? I thought they had him cash in for the U.S. title.
He did again, but that's when he cashed in outside the ring and then he got screwed. Like he screwed himself up.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, so cashing in and losing has only, I think, happened twice in the history of the briefcase, at least with the men. I don't know on the women's
Yeah,
side,
so
but
here you go. Here you go. 2022, he attempted to cash in on Seth Rollins for the United States Championship. The youngest Money in the Bank winner, by the way. The cash in was unsuccessful due to Seth Rollins being able to outlast Theory after a beatdown from Bobby Lashley.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so like I can't imagine that they're gonna have Seth lose cash in because they just don't typically do that with the guys who have it. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do with this.
yeah,
And if they are moving towards Punk Gunther, then I really have no clue what they're doing if it's gonna be Punk Gunther.
yeah, doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
Doesn't
It
make
does
sense.
not.
So yeah, that was pretty much everything from Raw, right? Do you think I missed anything there?
No, I don't think
that
so.
was other big things. Real quick, I'll just run through the SmackDown card of what was posted. I won't talk about results just to give people some time to see it since this is Tuesday. There was the Evolution's Women Tag Title match qualifier. We had Alexis Bliss and Charlotte Flair against Secret Hervice, which is Piper and Alba Fire, and Machin and B Fab. Wild that Bliss and Flair are now a tag team, I guess.
I mean, they're doing it just for this Evolution thing.
Yeah, but it's just wild to me. We had the Wyatt six and versus Chris Sabin, Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, and Berto. Somebody tell me why Berto's still employed. I don't get it. I really don't. Like I just don't know what he. Yeah, he doesn't add. Yeah, that's exactly who I thought it was. And nope. Andrade and Ray Phoenix versus Fraxium. Good to see them. And we already talked about Jacob and Jimmy versus Solo and JC Mateo. So, decent card for a SmackDown that is pre-taped, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Saturday night main event, we have the two matches that are booked are Gunther Goldberg and Seth versus LA Knight. How would you book this Saturday night main event, Dan?
Gunther Goldberg. I mean, I think Goldberg needs to lose. I just don't I don't think he should be carrying a title.
Right.
Although it would be hilarious if he wins and then they let Punk take it from him. That would be funny. But I don't see that happening. I assume Gunther's going to win. I think it's going to be clean. If this is truly his retirement match, I think he's going to go out with the loss and then take the bow after, because he'll be in his hometown, right? So he'll take the bow after and they'll give him that respect, and then that's it. And then he's done.
Yeah.
That's my guess. So I think it's a clean win for Gunther.
What else would you throw on this card?
That's a good question. Well, we know we're getting Seth and LA Knight, right? Do we know of any other? Are there any other actually announced matches?
That's it that I could find right now. No. That's why I think that Bailey thing might end up. Yeah, that's
on
why,
that card. Yeah, you could probably see that. I mean, I could probably see something like that. I mean, I don't think you're going to see Cena. So,
No.
um,
No. I don't think you're going to see Cody.
I don't know. No, probably not. So I don't know. Maybe you throw something with Punk in there. I don't know what, but I don't know. Maybe we're going to see something with El Grande Americano. Now that we've learned
learn what?
we've
Because I
learned
want
that
the people to hear you say that I was right.
we've learned that El Grande Americano is not Chad Gable.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Great timing on the injury for sure.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's so funny to me though. Like I love that they're doing this, but like it's so funny to me because it's like I'm sorry, but he doesn't look anything like the old Grande Americanos.
He's 2.5 feet taller.
It's right. Like so that's so fun, and he's skinnier. Like he's obviously like he's still like ripped like Chad Gable, but like oh my god, it was so funny, and I'm like. This dude, like, I know they're not really trying to pass this off as like, it's the same guy, like, but like, just even in the fake story of saying it's the same guy or pretending it's the same guy, it's like, guys, like, what are you doing here?
Yep. Yeah, it's great, man. But glad to see I was right, Dan. For first COVID, then that was it. Jimbo was right.
So funny. So funny.
It's just, yeah, well, like you said, it's height, right? Because, Grande Americano was like the size of the female. And now, with those boots on and this individual's height, he's almost as tall as the Undertaker walking backstage. Like, it is hysterical to me. But
yeah,
we'll see where it goes, man. You know what I'm telling you? Put a title on him. He deserves it. The world's best luchador.
Yeah, that's him, all right.
We're world's best luchador, damn. So, yeah. But, yeah, busy, what? I don't know. 3 days already of wrestling, and then NXT tonight as well. Anything you looking forward to going forward? Are you excited for Saturday night main event?
I mean, I don't know if I don't know if excited's the right word as much as like it. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to do this Gunther Goldberg thing for sure.
Agreed.
Agreed. I'm not sure it's going to be, anything super special, but I'm intrigued. It's always interesting to see what Goldberg's got left in the tank.
I'm afraid he's going to get hurt.
Eventually it's going to run out, but,
Yep.
But I'm glad he's getting. If he's going to stick to it, and if getting his true retirement match, like good for him.
His 163-0.
Yeah, that too. It's always that.
Man.
So
we had Brock break the streak of Taker. Now we're gonna have Gunther beat up the streak of Goldberg.
Well,
wild times we're in, Dan. Wild times.
Yeah. Not sure if it's 2025 or 1993.
Hey,
or 7, way, I should say.
I'm here for it. I am here for it. So yeah. But any other WWE content you wanted to talk about? Anything else cross your mind lately? There's just a few updates that I had, but any storylines or anything you would like to talk about?
It's not really storyline related, but I am going to ask you. Just I'm sure you're going to have an interesting answer. But do you believe the rumors that Hulk Hogan is on his deathbed?
You know what? I haven't been following it. Like, I only heard that from you when I saw you over the weekend. I saw the original article that he went in for n- n- neck or back procedure, right? Because something was screwed up.
Yes.
And then I heard from you that like one guy's reporting he's on his deathbed, and then other people are saying he basically checked out of the
Well,
hospital. So I don't.
yeah, to be clear, the one guy is Bubba the Love Sponge. So take that for what it's worth to you,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
I want to admit that. I want to be very clear about that. That like Bubba the Love Sponge, who is claiming this is from sources, that are close to him and have been close to Hogan, from the time when they were close to each other, has been reporting, and I don't think it's been started. I think it's even as recent as the last day or two, has been saying on his show that like he's being told like dude's in ICU, dude's on a ventilator, has a valve issue that can't be resolved and potentially needs a heart transplant. Because I believe Bubba says he had, and I know he had neck surgery. That much they've been public about. But Bubba the Love Sponge is saying he had a valve replacement and his body is rejecting the valve. And that he probably will need a heart replacement, but of course they're worried he's not strong enough to make it through that surgery right now. So, and then, now he is careful to say, look, these guys could be full of shit. But nobody's heard from Hogan.
Whoa.
None of his people have come out to really refute it. Now nobody's come out and confirmed it either. And so like I started to wonder, and then I thought, where's Eric Bischoff on this? So I went through Eric's tweets, and I haven't listened to 83 Weeks recently, so I don't know if it's been addressed in recent episodes. But Eric isn't saying anything, and Eric's still promoting the Real American whatever that they're starting, the fighting thing, the wrestling deal. And Hogan's obviously not promoting. Hogan hasn't tweeted, or his account hasn't tweeted in 2 months. So I'm starting to wonder if there's a little more truth to what Bubba's saying than people are letting on. And there's a part of me that's wondering why his people aren't just coming out and saying what's going on. So that's all. But that's the conspiracy side of it.
Rep did originally come out after the surgery and say it was successful and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
However, Vince Russo has jumped on this as well, and he's provided more into what him and Bubba talk about, and it seems like this has been picked up by Sports Geekia of what is actually going on. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and yeah, and like you said, like
I just don't know.
Coachman said there's no sight of Hogan around Tampa at all.
No, like I said, he's not active on social media, which you would think because they're coming up on their first event for this wrestling deal they did, the amateur wrestling.
Yeah.
Like that's like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So and I know Eric's been doing some other stuff. I don't know if you've seen the clips. He's been doing the DDPY program, and he looks fucking ripped.
Yeah,
he looks ripped.
Well,
I was like, holy crap.
Carnivore diet too, right? So like he's not eating a ton of crap.
Yeah.
So...
No, he does the carnivore diet, he does water fasting, and then he's doing DDPY, and he came out and he looked like he was topless, and he had like an 8-pack. I was like, holy shit. And he's like 60 something.
Mm-hmm.
So, so good for him, but he's promoting that, but Hogan's not. And he's doing his own thing, but not talking about Hogan. And Hogan's best friend, he talks about that all the time. They're best friends. And he's, for whatever Hogan's done in the past, Eric's sticking by him for now. So there's that. I would imagine that Bubba the Love Sponge has decent sources just from their time as being as close as they were, and until they had all their issues. So I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if there's more truth to it. Maybe it's not 100% true what he's hearing, but I feel like it's getting close to it. And if Russo is jumping in and saying he's not getting cited anywhere, like people aren't seeing him, like it's not like he's just chilling in his house. I think he is in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
originally I thought a few weeks ago, I thought his reps kind of said yeah, he had surgery. It was successful. This is just normal, because he was going too hard. I had read a couple weeks ago. The issue was yeah, he had surgery, which was a big deal, but it went well. But then he immediately went back traveling and doing the stuff he was doing and going to whatever autograph signings and shit like that. And it basically was you can't do that when you had major surgery, and he was basically back in because you went too hard too quick. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, eventually something's going to come out. Bubba made this point in the clip I was watching where he basically said, look, at the end of the day, 3 things are going to happen. We're going to find out he was never in the hospital, and he's going to pop up somewhere, and he's going to look fine. We're going to find out that he was in the hospital, and it was bad, but he survived it. But he's going to come out of the hospital looking like a shell of himself, because if he truly is in ICU and all that, he's losing muscle mass by the minute.
Yep.
He's losing weight. He's going to look terrible when he first gets out. He's not going to look like, he's not going to have the 24-inch pythons, or, and Bubba said, or he's going to pass away. And that's how we're going to find out.
It's
so
crazy.
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, though, if there's truth to it.
It's crazy.
I just don't understand, I understand, I guess the secrecy, but when you're a celebrity like that, I don't understand why you just don't have your people decide if he's on a ventilator, then obviously he's not in a position to really talk.
Right.
But your people don't say, look, all we need to do is make a statement that he's in the hospital. We're not getting into specifics. We ask you to keep him in your thoughts. Otherwise, this is private. That's all you say. And then people stop trying to people aren't going to camp outside his house. And they're not going to camp at the hospital looking for a photo op, but they don't do it that way. So we'll see. I just wondered if you had heard anything too. That's all I had heard.
No, yeah, I just saw that article from Sportskeeda that they published 11 hours ago. So that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's crazy, man. It is crazy. Hopefully he's okay. I know he's kind of been an asshole later on in life, but obviously this is not how you want somebody to learn their lesson on how to treat people. So, yeah, I mean, all the best to Togan what's going on, but at the same time, I think everybody should just give him a break and let him chill out, right? Because we don't need all this happening at once. So, because that'll just be nuts. But, yeah. But not to end the podcast on a negative note, in case anybody plays WWE 2K like I do, Dan used to, and then he got a gaming computer, so now he's addicted to that. And that's not even when he played Warcraft yet, or Diablo.
And right now my Xbox isn't even hooked up because I ripped everything out of my room.
Yeah,
so.
But they dropped the new DLC, which included Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Abyss, and the Great Khali. The Abyss has been my favorite card to play with. Abyss is just crazy good.
What What a combo
Yeah.
of people
They're
to
calling it
release
the
in a pack.
what is it? What are they calling it? The Duncan Destruction Pack. But it's awesome. Abyss is great. And there's a code that you can get if you redeem it by July 18th, I believe. It's Big Man J4MZ. Basically, you get 1 punches and promos and 1 legend series. I got some good cards from those. It's fun. It really does reinvigorate the grind that is the weekly towers. And also, they dropped chapter 3 of The Island has arrived. So WrestleMania 41 is basically now available. Crown Jewel Arena is now available. And that's all I'll say about that. I know how it plays out. I didn't play it yet, but I've been watching tutorials on it. But it's a hell of a time to jump back in this game and to get stuff done. And also, LFG Season 2 is now, I think it started last Sunday. So that's cool as well. So, yeah, go get the things. Enjoy it. LFG is always fun. And we'll see where it goes from there. Kind of pissed though that the Undertaker they like reinvented his podcast, kicked off the creator, brought in his wife, and then they kicked off Mickey James and brought in his wife for that show too. Why couldn't you just add her on as an extra team judge or captain and just add an extra team, right? Like, you have enough people in the development center. Like, we hear about all these people that signed and all these college athletes that are signing and training, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know what that's about. I'm really not a big fan of that. I kind of wait a few episodes until I dive into that. But yeah, it's definitely worth it for sure. Just to get back in those things, and it's awesome. So yeah, but I guess that's it then. Dan, do you have anything else you want to talk about? I still didn't get back to any AEW stuff, and I feel terrible about it, but I just haven't been.
I haven't gotten into it either. I mean,
So
I keep up on social media with what's going on, but nothing has brought me into saying like, "Hey, let me go watch this episode."
yeah, yeah, and I guess Tony came out and said basically the issue with Rusev is he refused to get beat, so that's where their problem started. So all right, Tony, like.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We're just glad to have him back. So, but yeah, until next week, Botch Wrestling Podcast. This will be up tomorrow afternoon on YouTube, and there will be a post on Instagram. Follow us there at Botch Wrestling Pod. Until then, I'm Jim. That's Dan. We will see you all next week. Adios.